I'm standing on the northeast side of Trelawar's hospital station, or Alton Park, and that's to be found in this morass of vegetation. And I think where I'm standing here today, it's a car park in a raised area, but I think this was the entrance point where patients were taken from trains and then into the hospital over there. But what I also want to show you is the location of the coal siding, which this building in front of us now, which is Alton Park Surgery, occupies the end of. So we'll just walk down here, and it's a very railway orientated area. You've got sleepers on this delightful little set of steps going down. Now we'll walk towards the surgery. So our coal siding, and I think it must have been on a higher ground then, because, and if I just get round this corner here I can show you better. So this embankment up here, if you remember in the film footage I took when we was in the station, you saw the capstan, and the coal siding would have come around here and ended around here. So I think this would have been on higher ground. So I think this is the location of the coal siding. But when I visited the station cottages at Lasham Station, I was given a very good tip off by one of the residents there that there was something interesting to see at Alton Park Surgery. And this is Alton Park Surgery, so let's go and have a look. And this is here where the building starts. That would have been more or less the end of the coal siding. There we go, this is Alton Park Surgery, and there is what I'm looking for. Look at that, isn't that wonderful? And we've got a plaque which says, upon this site stood the boiler house, laundry, works department and coal sidings of Lord Mayor Treloar's hospital. So that more or less confirms that this was the site of the sidings. And something else I've just noticed, these track chairs, most of them are dated, and look at the dates on that one. April 1925. And also if I go around this side, SR for Southern Railway. So it's quite possible that these could actually be contemporary with the railway itself. It's possible these could be the actual track chairs that were here when the siding was here. Obviously there's no way to find out. There's another one there, look, January 1925. Another 1925. So thank you to the lady at Lasham Station Cottages. That's a great little tribute. So I'll switch sides now. This is the southwestern side of Alton platform, which we've just had a good look at. See the platform there in front of us, but I've also just noticed this. It's a concrete post, not particularly inspiring, but it's pretty degraded. And I think if you remember back to the first part of this expedition, when we was at Basingstoke, where the line came off at the waterworks, we found some concrete posts there, and they date probably from the 50s and 60s, when coal trains were still using the short spur. Well, coal trains were still using this short spur into Alton Park Station, or Treloar's, right up until more or less the same time, which would have been the early 1960s. So I think that's probably a reminder from those days. So let's move away from Alton Park now and go towards Butts Junction. So through the Steeny Nettles. It's now a residential area, but the station still in there. We're going to go down, but the embankment continues on our right. So just a bit further on from Alton Park, which is in that direction, our embankment comes to an end, a premature end. Obviously it's been dug away, you can just see it through the trees there, and it comes down in a slope, and obviously it would have carried on through this building in front of me, which is today a scout hut. But we're coming on to Chawton Park Road, which is in front of us here, just the other side of that car. And here the line would have still been up there on its embankment, and obviously as we cross towards Butts Junction, which is over there on the other side of the road, we would have had a bridge, which today is long gone.
Now this is the modern overhead view. You can see the Basingstoke to Alton line coming into Alton on this distinct green line here. This is the area where Alton Park Station is, and this is the area of what's left of Treloar's hospital. Unfortunately, not much. I walked on the footpath adjacent to the railway line coming down here and onto Chawton Park Road. This is Chawton Park Road here, and this here is the site of the bridge. So if we go back in time to the map of 1962, so this makes things a lot more clearer as regards to the railway. Once again it's clear, but this time it was still a railway but only used as a siding. Remember, we looked at this bit here when I was describing the movements of the shunts to get the coal into the sidings here. You can see that the bridge is still intact here on this extremely high embankment. It had to be high because when it joined the main line here, the Waterloo to Winchester line, which came through here at the time, this embankment here was incredibly high, so it was banked up all the way just to able to get onto here. But this is the site of the bridge here. This is Chawton Park Road Bridge, and this is where we are at the moment. So the site of the bridge would have been directly to my right, where the vegetation gives way to what is today the Scout Hut's car park. And moving out onto the road, the south abutment would have been exactly where that house is. Hard to imagine now, it would have spanned Chawton Park Road at around the height of the houses' roofs.
And once the line had crossed the bridge here, where that house is, the embankment would have started again way up there. But on the other side of the road we have a very convenient tree line, this one here, which marks the base of the embankment, and we'll have a quick follow of that and see how far it goes. So obviously completely engineered out. This would have been the embankment. The trees up there, would have been onto the main line between Winchester and Alton, and this tree line here, and it would have gone round there, would have been the base of the embankment.
This photo, taken in 2007 from the Midhants railway side, shows the embankment in what appears to be the process of removal. Just look at the width of it, necessary for it to support the great height at which the line stood. To give it some reference, this is the site of Chawton Park Road and the former bridge, with the line of trees at the embankment's base, which I just looked at, located here. Following the embankment, the line used to join up with the former Alton to Winchester line at Butts Junction. In fact, 3 routes converged here, the aforementioned 2 and the Meon Valley line from Fareham. The line to Basingstoke, although closed in 1932 to passengers, continued in use as a siding until 1967. The Meon Valley line ceased operating in 1968, and ultimately the line to Winchester closed in 1973. However, in 1977, The Midhants Heritage Railway reopened the section west of here between Alresford and Ropley and began running a steam service before reaching Alton in 1985. Today, a railway runs again west of Alton as far as Alresford. Alas, the former Butts Junction no longer acts as a junction, but the name lives on in the form of the bridge which crosses the busy A339 to the south of Alton. This bridge, however, was replaced just recently. Coming up on the left, you can see the remains of the former Butts Junction signal box. With the cessation of services to Basingstoke in 1932 and the electrification of the line from London to Alton in 1937, the junction was simplified, subsequently rendering the signal box redundant. It was closed in 1937. Unfortunately, with the renewal of Butts Bridge, the remains of the old signal box were also demolished. Almost at journey's end, this final part of our search for what remains of the Basingstoke and Alton Light Railway is more or less at an end. The remaining infrastructure, bridges, cuttings and embankments are still part of an operating railway, albeit a heritage one. So let's sit back for a moment and simply enjoy the ride. On the 10th of September 1932, just over 31 years since opening, Mrs. Eliza Bowman, who had also travelled on the first train back in 1901, was the sole passenger of the last service to depart for Basingstoke. It left from this platform, platform number 3, to no occasion or commemoration. The final good service to Trelawar's Hospital left Alton some 35 years later in 1967. Over its short lifetime, the Basingstoke and Alton Light Railway had been poorly managed right from the very start. The stations were badly located, the service poorly timed and slow, not to mention a total lack of innovation from the London and South Western Railway and their successor the Southern Railway as to its usefulness. Today, a railway between Basingstoke and Alton would be invaluable, taking into account the increasing road traffic clogging up the already busy A339, but not the light railway, with speed restricted to 25 miles per hour, much lower on many occasions, weight limitations and the sparse populations of the intermediate stations. It's probably best that this railway is consigned to the history books. Having walked its entire route and discovered the absorbing infrastructure left behind, the fact that it is an aging ruin adds a kind of magical enchantment to Basingstoke's former rail route to Alton.